being solitary.
So it looks like these guys get along pretty well. I guess like siblings, right?
They do. You know, of course, we do give them their alone time, because just like us, we're all very social creatures, but we do need our alone time. We do give them their alone time as well, and sometimes they'll be out here in the habitat or down in the house. We have a house that's actually underground that extends all the way back to Tampa. And in that house, we have 13 bedrooms that we can separate them all into, so all of our tigers can get some alone time. But they do get along really well generally, playing all the time, but of course they do a little spats just like we do.
Thanks, Ashley. And these four are just 4 of the 12 we have here at the park, right?
Right, we do have 12 Bengal tigers here at the park, so even the white tigers you see out there are Bengal tigers. The trait that they have is a double recessive trait called leucistic, so they're not albinos. If they were albino, they would have no pigmentation at all, and as you can see, they do have pigmentation in their stripes, as well as they have blue eyes, instead of if they were albinos, they would have red eyes and no stripes at all.
Well, Ashley, I'm going to ask you some questions that I know people always ask us. The first one is, what do they eat?
Well, our tigers get all raw meat as they would in the wild. In the wild, tigers eat deer, boar, things even as big as elephant or rhino calves, and things as small as even turtles or crabs. So in the wild, they do eat all raw meat though, including most of the bones. They can't eat real large bones, but they can eat smaller bones. So what we feed them here is a ground meat. It includes all of the organs and tissues. It's very balanced. It's everything that they would get in the, all the nutrients they would get in the wild, and moisture. And then they also get meat they can rip off the bone, like chicken and ribs and venison and rabbits and tails. And we do fast them 3 times out of the month. And this is because in the wild, tigers typically don't eat every day. They don't have a schedule in the wild. They don't know exactly when they're going to be successful hunting. So we try to vary their schedule up here as much as possible. But we do feed almost every single day, with the exception to those fast days. And then on those fast days, they get a big bison bone. It's funny, it looks like a real big dinosaur bone. And they get to chew on those all day long, which is really, really good for their dental system.
So speaking of meatballs, these are them right now, right? That we're watching Jody toss, and looks like Aaron's tossing over here as well.
Yeah, we just ball the meat up into meatballs. Sometimes we'll ship them in the house or out here for a large amount of food, and other times we break up their meat into smaller amounts and give them meatballs. So out here, you can see we are doing a training session. Jody's feeding Lady and King, and Aaron's down there feeding Bile and Bhutan. And the tigers all know their names, so what they're trained to do is when Jody calls their name, Lady and King respond to that, and you can see King did go for Lady's meatball there because he knows to get fed that he has to cooperate with her and wait till his name is called to get his food. So that's one way that we can feed them out here together without causing any aggression.
Thanks, Ashley. And while you all are in the lodge, if you have any questions for a tiger keeper, if there's something you always want to know about a tiger, but you have a tiger keeper today, because Ashley is on mic, and if you'd like to ask me questions about tigers in general or about our tigers here at Busch Gardens, I'd be happy to relay those questions up to Ashley. I will go ahead and ask you, Ashley, since we're talking about food, about how much do the tigers here at Busch Gardens eat a day?
Well, since it's rationed out into every single day, they get 4 to 10 pounds of meat every single day individually, and that amount is given to us by our veterinarians. It's based on their age, their weight, and their metabolism, and we are also able to weigh them every single week to make sure that they are maintaining a real healthy weight range within 10 pounds or so. So we want to make sure they're always maintaining their optimal weight, and we do adjust the weight lodge to protect the tigers.
Thanks, Ashley. Like I said, if you just entered the lodge, this is Ashley out here, and she's one of our senior tiger keepers, and I'm doing the African Education. I'm kind of in the middle of the lodge, and I would be happy to relay any questions